about something lately, and if you ride, I think you've been guilty of it too. Thinking of your next new to you motorcycle. I scripted something out and it just doesn't feel right every time I say it, so I'm just gonna go from the heart on this one. I have a motorcycle that I love, as I'm sure you have one that you adore. It's plenty fast, gives me enough power, it's comfortable, I know it very well, I'm having a ton of fun with it. There's no reason for me, and probably you either, to be looking at another motorcycle. It makes no logical sense. But yet you're there, you open YouTube, you open Instagram, you hear a bike screaming in the distance, and your brain just goes, yeah, but what about that one? Do you want something quicker in the twisties? Can you see yourself on a cruiser? Have you imagined your, apocalypse style ADV super dad bike? Do you think that 2006 is the best year for motorcycles? I mean, I do. But I'm very biased. There's something about the feeling that power is different from that era or something weird. That's besides the point, but I think I just went back and forth if that was dissatisfaction. And I don't think it is. I'm going to say a hard no. I think that's just part of being a motorcyclist, and I think that's interest. I think that's just where that pops up. Sorry about the voice. I think I'm coming down with something sick. Anyways, motorcycles are not like cars. It's not some solve for a transportation issue. I mean, it could be, but like, are you lame? No, it's because they're cool. They make you feel something. It's a mecha horse that you're bending to your will, or that sounds way too intense. Maybe you're mind melding with a creature, or like Zoids. Do you remember Zoids? That show was so good. I had this little Liger Zero toy that was this, again, getting off track. The point being that there's just something innately personable about a bike. You like fuse with it more than a car. And it's this like fusing or connection that makes riding a bike. It's one of them says, freedom and comfort. One says raw cornering, performance and speed. You got sports, but you're locked in, you're freaking on there, but you're woof. And then like you get an ADV and you're like, I'm going to disappear into the desert for 4 weeks and come back with a new attitude and maybe dreadlocks. Hopefully not, because dreadlocks would be rough, and 4 weeks is not enough time to grow hair, but you get it. It's that these motorcycles are mechanical daydreams. They allow you to kind of step into other versions of yourself, like a multiverse of motorcycle disciplines where it's a different road, a different season, maybe a whole different type of riding, and there's freedom in that. It's why motorcycles are specialized. It's why I think I've given up on this end all be all bike. And if you found a bike that's a jack of all trades, can do everything, and that works for you, I'm not shitting on that at all. That's fantastic. I love that. But for me, I think having a very specialized bike is important. And I've seen this bleed off into other parts of my life where man, my brain just really isn't working. I'm just having brain farts all the way. But what I'm trying to say is it bleeds off into other areas of my life, and it's not sedan versus pickup. It's not economy versus storage or whatever. Those aren't great comparisons. If I was eating soup, I would much rather have a spoon than a spork. Even though with a spork, I could eat my soup, have some salad. I don't want that. I'll buy a spoon and I'll buy a fork. No more sporks. And not in like this crazy, I have all the money, I can't afford that. I can't, but I'm happy having my sports touring bike right now, getting my time with that, and then adding something that's, maybe a little bit more flashy, maybe my hot boy hooligan bike where I can have more fun. And I think there's some real value in that. I think there's a reason these things are specialized. And I think maybe it's just good marketing because people are selling the sizzle and not the sausage, where maybe motorcyclists and dealerships know this, and so they're trying to play on that. But I don't think it's this horrible malicious thing. I think it's natural. Here's the uncomfortable part is that I don't think the, thinking, overanalyzing, fawning over the next bike will ever stop. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think even if I had 5 bikes, I'd be thinking of my sixth and then my seventh. It's just n plus one. I think it works for firearms. I think it works for motorcycles. I just think it is what it is. It's not this like horrible, restless comparison where I'm unhappy for what I have. I think it's more of a curiosity for what's out there. And I think that's very baked into what motorcycling is. And I think that's healthy. I mean, when I'm riding the bike, I'm always curious about what's around the next turn. I want to learn a new braking technique so I don't eat shit anymore. I you're always adding and pursuing more information and knowledge. At least I think if you're a good rider, an ethical rider, whatever ethical rider means, that sounds stupid. But like if you want to take care of yourself and not eat it or bite it or something, I think it's important to be curious, and I think lifelong learners make for good motorcyclists from what I've seen. I'm very new, so I understand how this sounds, but I just don't think it'll ever stop. All that to say, I don't think this impedes anything. It's like most days I'm out there, I'm riding my bike, I'm laughing under my visor, just having a great time and feeling like a kid again. Like, when you get off your bike and you kind of have that relaxed feeling, it's almost like you were playing at the beach all day and then you got out of the cold water and laid it on like the warm sand. That's what motorcycling does. And following this kid analogy, it's that daydreaming part of the curiosity of looking at other bikes that I think is good. I think we're often told to grow up and pursue all these crazy things, but motorcycling is childlike joy. It's imagination. It's curiosity. And so for that reason, I think it's good. So, probably very unlikely that I will stop thinking about other motorcycles, looking at other motorcycles, thinking about the cool things I could do on other motorcycles, but still being happy with what I have. Okay, have a good day.